Hey Flosstube! It's me, Elizabeth, with the Silver Scissor. It is sometime in May. I think it's like the 18th of May. And I'm just here to show you what I've been working on the last little while. You can follow me on Instagram. It's the Silver Scissor Sews. And yeah, I'm just going to show you what I've been working on. It's been a couple weeks since I've done one. I meant to do one sooner, but it's just been crazy. I swear May is as crazy as December is. Especially with kids finishing school. We've had junior high choir concerts, which was about as good as you were imagining right now. It was slightly painful, but we made it through. We lived. We don't have to do another one till next fall, so that's good news. And I do love choir things and singing and music, and I like to be in musicals and things like that, but the junior high choir concert is a little bit painful. We've had piano recitals. We still have ballet recital to come. My daughter's ballet doesn't do their recital until like the second week of June. So they have time to get out of school, but they kind of take up the entire week. The place that my girls do ballet is very, very good, but my girls have to go to their dress rehearsals and stuff at different times, and it is kind of a pain, but they always have a really good show, so I'm excited to see it. My youngest is doing her first year of ballet this year, and they got their costumes this week, and she is thrilled. She's going to be a lifesaver in her dance, and so she's got red sequins and a multicolored tutu that she's thrilled to wear. My other daughter's going to be Smarties. It's a Candyland ballet, and it'll be fun. I'm excited to go see them. So we've got 2 more weeks of school left, and my kids are wild. My kindergartner doesn't have school this week because they have their end of level testing, and they have to do oral because they're in kindergarten. So they've all got different times that they have to go in and do those. So that's what I get to do this week, is have him and my 5-year-old, my preschooler, home, and it'll be fun. I'm kind of looking forward to it, actually, because I like my kids to be home more so than in school, because I like to go on our schedule, not the school schedule for everything, and I'm excited for things like piano and dance to wind down. But my oldest is on the mountain bike team at the high school, and he just they start this week doing their practices, and he also is starting to drive for drivers that he turned 16 in July, and so he's starting to drive with the instructor for drivers that he's had his learners for almost a year since his birthday, and he gets to be at school at 5:30 in the morning to do those drives with the instructor. So fun for him, and somebody's got to take him there, and that hasn't been determined yet as to who will it be. I've been doing quite a bit of sewing lately, as well as stitching, because my daughters need church dresses for summer, and my older daughter has a pioneer trek coming up with school, and so I've got to get her she's supposed to wear a costume. I think I'm just going to do a skirt instead of a dress, and have her maybe wear a t-shirt or something, and then do a little bonnet. So I've got to get that going this week. It's the last week of school, so she's got about a week and a half until she needs it. So I've been working on church dresses for my daughters. This is one of them that I made for my 5-year-old. She's 5. I have a 6-year-old, but it's a boy. Anyway, it's double brushed poly. I think it's double brushed. Oh, so I think it might be single brushed. Anyway, it's brushed poly, and it's double. Anyway, this is a pattern from the company called Made for Mermaids, and I really like their patterns. They're pretty basic, and a lot of theirs are knit. I like to order my knits online. I feel like Joann's knits shrink just way too much. And they're expensive. You can get it for a lot cheaper online, which is sad, but very, very true, for probably like half the price. And I feel like Joann's knits always have, they're usually like $15 a yard, but then they are always on sale for like 10% off or 20% off, so you cannot use your coupons and get it for the price that you can get buying online. So this is like I said, made for mermaid pattern. The top is actually for their joy dress, and it's a wrap dress that's long. But because she's only 5, we have a little bit of hard time with skirts and modesty as it is. We, you know, if our skirts ride and clear up, she doesn't really care. And so I figured that with a wraparound skirt, that might not go well for her because she wouldn't keep it closed. So I just did the skirt from the Joy, which is also a made for mermaids pattern, and just put it on here. Another thing that I like about their patterns is that you can mix and match pretty easily. And in fact, some of the tops are made to mix and match, so you could choose the neckline for one top, but the arms for another and the bodice for another, which I really like. So a lot of the dresses that I make are from them. I've got to make one like this for my 10-year-old this week as well. And the fabric, I don't remember where I got it. I got it last summer, and I believe it is either Raspberry Creek or Knit Pop, but I can't remember. And both of those are online. This one, this is the Made by Ray Geranium pattern. This is for my 6-year-old as well. And it is finished, except I don't have buttons on there yet, so I've got to do that. And this is just the basic pattern. There is an expansion pack, and I have it and have made a dress with it using some of those things. If you're not familiar with pattern, with them, Made by Ray, this is the geranium dress. And I love this pattern because there are so many options. So this is kind of the basic one. You'll see I've got another one that I made with a different neckline, but the basic pattern has these cap sleeves or sleeveless or a little ruffle sleeve, and then it has an option for a pleated skirt. You can put patch pockets on it, but I love this dress. There's an expansion pack that I've made for my daughter, and it looks like a completely different dress. There's different collar options. The one that I made has a Peter Pan collar, and I did a sash and a band at the bottom instead of hemming. But there's tons of options with the dress. It was funny, this other little girl in our neighborhood wore a dress out of the same geranium pattern today, and she was sitting right behind us. She's friends with my little girl, and hers looked completely different because her mom used the expansion pack, and she did long sleeves, and she had a collar, and anyway, they were sitting right behind us in church, and it was fun to see the two dresses together. So anyway, this is almost done except for the buttons. And I do not remember what that fabric is. It has little, I don't know if you could see, it has these little flowers. I want to say that it's strawberry jam, but I don't think that's right. I think it's Country Kitchen or something. I don't remember if it's Moda or what. I did buy Quilt Shop fabric for that one. This one, it's kind of a fun, I've always been a huge fan of the Feed Sack 30s prints. And this is that same geranium pattern. And she wore this one today, so she just took it off a few minutes ago. And I added rickrack to the waist, and then I did a different neckline. And other than that, it's the same as the other. She's got little daisy buttons on the back here. Anyway, this is a fun pattern, and it sews up pretty quickly, and there's just so many different options that I love it. So I have the one that goes from a size 0 to, I don't know how small it starts, to a size 5T, and then this is the next one that is 6 to 12, and then there's an adult one as well after that, but it's called something else that I can't remember right now. Anyway, so she wore this one today, and I actually have another one that I just have the bodice done. And after I had put the rickrack on here, I hadn't planned on using the rickrack, but it happened to be sitting right next to my cutting table, and I thought, oh, I wonder if that would look cute. So I stuck it on, and I love the rickrack. So the other one that I have just the bodice done, I went to go buy rickrack yesterday for it, and I went to Nuttall's, which is the Bernina dealer closest to us, and they have fabric as well. And they didn't have the right color, so I went to this other store in Layton, Utah called Sew and Save, and I really like that one. It's a quilt shop, but they've got a lot of trim as well. But it's kind of in a little bit of a scarier neighborhood, so I was going, And my 10-year-old was with me, and we were driving, and there was this guy that was hitchhiking. And I saw him standing there at the bus stop, but I wasn't really paying attention to what he was doing. And I signaled to turn right. Well, he thought I was picking him up, this hitchhiker did. And I didn't quite know what to do, so I just kept driving. So we ended up not going into that store, and I do not have rickrack for the other dress. So I've got to go back later this week when hopefully the hitchhiker won't be out there. I was afraid if I stopped that he'd like try and get in or something. If I parked, he like had followed me into the parking lot, because I didn't realize until we'd gotten into the parking lot, I was like, he's following us. And I had thought at first, like as I went to turn, I was like, he's coming toward us, and I wonder if he thinks we're picking him up. But I think he thought I was pulling into the parking lot to like pick him up, and I sure wasn't. And I've been listening to a lot of true crime podcasts, and I'm pretty sure he was an axe murderer, this guy. So I didn't stop because I didn't want to die, and I realized that there are hitchhikers that do not kill people, but I didn't want to risk it. So anyway, I don't have rickrack for the other one. I'd like to put it around the bottom as well, and I will go back this week and see if I can. It may be a little bit hard to match because it's kind of a coral, like a darker coral color that I need, but we'll see what I can find. So I lost my box. Oh, right here. So I have heard so much about Victorian Moto and Color and Cotton that I wanted to try it to see what all the hype was about. And so I ordered I think it's like Primitive Stitcher package or something of the floss so that I could see from Victorian Moto. And I had heard too that the white, when you stitch it, when I stitch with white, it looks kind of weird. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, so I had heard that it doesn't do that, the white looks good with it. And I didn't get any white in my package, but that's okay. So I got these, and I was a little bit concerned. As I had seen them, I really like highly variegated floss, and as I'd seen people holding it up, I couldn't tell. So I asked on Instagram, and people said it wasn't as variegated as Color and Cotton, but some are variegated, and some of it is pretty subtle variegation. But it's really cheap. So if you think these are $2.50, but it's is it 10 yards? 20 yards, I think. That it turns out to be about the price of DMC. And anyway, for the most part, these are not very variegated. Like maybe you wouldn't even notice. You can kind of see some of these colors that I have. I can't tell if you can tell how variegated or not they are, but some of them do have quite a good bit. My favorite one that I have been using is this red, and I don't think you can see. It's really overcast outside, so it's hard to get the right light. This is Red Tulip, and this one is pretty variegated. It's red with red. It's not, I feel like it's not picking up very well, but anyway, you can kind of see. So if you like highly variegated, this might not be the type of floss for you, but some of them are pretty variegated. There was one that I had pulled out. Let's see. Yeah, that's this one. This one is blueberries, and this is quite variegated. I don't know how well you can see it on there. But anyway, I stitched with them, and they work about the same as any other floss, but like I said, they are cheaper. You get a lot more. They are not highly variegated, so you've got to decide what you like. This one has quite a bit of variegation with just two colors. There's a darker and a lighter. I cannot tell how much it's showing up on there. Anyway, but so it's kind of fun though to have a bunch of new colors to try. I don't know that I would use them regularly because they're not quite variegated enough for me, but I do really want to try a white or a white-ish color so that I can see if they really seem to work better for that. But this one's pretty variegated as well. This is Rusted Orange. So anyway, that was it was fun to try them, and I've been using them and doing color conversions with them. I also tried Color and Cotton, and I absolutely love these. If you want highly variegated, these are it. This one is probably the least variegated that I got. And this one is called Winter Prairie. It's kind of a light beige. This one is my favorite. This is Espresso. And it's a little bit of a purpley brown. And it is highly variegated. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Oh, I started last night. I didn't pull it out. There was one called Old Oats, and I used it on something, and I'll point it out to you when I get to it. But it seemed to work really well as far as my white stitches were. This is my favorite one of the Color and Cotton. This is dark indigo, and it has, you cannot even see it, a variegation in that. But it's a really dark blue to a kind of a medium blue. And I've also used this a little bit, and I'll show you when I get to that, where I used it. I also made a project bag. I've been looking for fabric for a 4th of July one, and I haven't been able to find any that I loved. And so I just made one with the red, white, and blue colors. And anyway, I'll show you. So I started this on Thursday, and this is Stacy Nash Freedom Needlebook. And I've not done a Stacy Nash pattern before, but I love this one. I can't stop working on it, except that I messed up last night. So this is 2 nights worth of work with quite a bit of pulling out, because I did this branch over here completely wrong. But this is that midnight that I really loved, the variegated. And I can't tell how well you can tell with the lighting, but, and then this is the red tulip from the Victorian Moto. But, oh, and the white, the Old Oats. And I feel like it covers well. This is 32 count Legacy linen, and it's a little bit stretchy, and it feels slightly smaller than regular 32. I don't know. I know that sometimes when things are over dyed, it can look a little bit smaller or tighter. And so anyway, but it's been fun to work with. And I am looking forward to finishing this one. It's fun, and it's just a tiny little stitch. Also, I told you for my big mania plans were to get things finished, but I've been seeing so many things that other people have been doing. It really makes me want to start new things, so I've had a little bit of a hard time following my own rules. And I had this pattern for a while, and I started Since Market. This one, this is when, I think it's called When Flowers Bloom by With Thy Needle, and I just started a little tiny bit of it. Anyway, you can kind of see the little sampler. This is going to be a little house. I may put this away till later in the summer and get my 4th of July stuff done for now. And I think I've only worked like 2 weeks on that one. I haven't worked very long. I also started, this is just a bee freebie, and it's from Sabrosa, and it is on, if you are in the, I think it's called just Prim Stitchers on Facebook in their group, it is a freebie under their files, and I think it is so cute. Anyway, this is, I can't remember how many nights of stitching, 1 or 2. And I have used Victorian Moto up here in the flowers. It is, let's see. These ones are both pretty variegated. This is Very Violet, and some of it is kind of a brighter magenta-y color, and some of it's darker. And let's see, the other one is Forevermore, and this one is pretty variegated as well. Like I have to comb them. I don't know the best way to store these, so if you have any great ideas, let me know. I am a huge fan of the bobbins because they don't get tangled. I try to do the floss away bags probably when I was a teenager, and I did not love them. I know that some people do, but I felt like I was getting tangles. So if there's a way to do it and not to get so many tangles, I'd love to know. This is kind of that's the free pattern. So you can kind of see what the finished product will be, but it's so cute, and it'll just be a small little one that I'll do into a pillow or something like that. I also, like I said, finishes were my big focus for Mania. And so I had this one started, and I cannot figure out how to finish it. I like the pillows, but not as much as I just like them framed. But I don't want to spend the money for custom framing, and since this is a square, it's hard. I did find at Hobby Lobby a 12 by 12 frame, and I was going to do it for this, but I just feel like there's so much space between the end. This is slightly bigger than would fit in an 8 by 8 frame, of course. And so anyway, I'm trying to figure out what to do. I did change almost all the colors I changed on this. I think it calls for DMC. And anyway, the sheep is shabby sheep. This is blacksmith blue is the border here. I can't remember some of the others, but anyway, I'm trying to decide what to do. I like simple finishes, not with a lot of other stuff. I feel like I just want to focus on the project that I spent time on. And so I'm trying to think of something, and I haven't decided what. I may end up putting it in the 12 by 12 frame and putting fabric behind it or something, so it's a little bit of a frame, but we'll see. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I thought I have it. I keep thinking I have it figured out, and then I don't. I also worked on this one. This is Land That I Love, and this is Threadwork Primitives, and I loved stitching this one. This is, let's see. This is Victorian Moto, that red that I showed you. And the flowers are the color in cotton, and they are dark indigo, I believe it's called. I really liked it. And the light is a Victorian Moto as well. I think Cape Cod. This basket. Okay, I had to go on the next project, but I'll show you. It called for wood trail, and I loved wood trail, and I swear it calls for it in like every single project. But they've changed the dye lot, and I really don't like the dye lot that it's changed to. It's kind of green. It's just different. Anyway, so I had asked on the other one that I was doing what would be a good replacement, and they suggested Sticks and Twigs, which is classic Colorworks. It's one of the new ones that came out from market, and I love it, and I've been substituting it everywhere. So I used it here for the basket and the birds. The birds actually had two different colors on it, and I just stitched it as all one color. The words. It called for, I think it called for endive for the green, and I used mossy, maybe? I cannot remember what I used, but I feel like there's so many patterns that call for endive and piney woods from Gentle Arts, and I'm kind of getting tired of them. And maybe it's because the next one that I will show you, you will see all of the endive in, but I need a break. I need new greens. So let me know your favorite greens and what brand, because I need to know, because I'm tired of the same old ones. This fabric is Doubloon 32 count from Picture This Plus. And then I just put it on this blue and white stripe. And like I said, I like pillows, but I think I like the actual just framed better. I feel it has walnuts in it, but I kind of don't like how they sag, and I don't like lumpy pillows. And so anyway, it's fine, but I don't know that it's not my first choice as a finish. But again, I didn't have anything, I couldn't find a standard frame that would fit that one. Okay, this is like my most proudest cross stitch ever because I finished it. And this was my big goal for Mania, was to finish this one. And this is American Sampler by Plum Street. I don't know how well you can see. I did have this one custom framed because I worked hard. And so I felt like I deserved it. But this is where this tree over here is where I had asked about the wood trail. And this grass, this is the endive. And this is, I think, what has made me tired of endive, is because that was like 3 skeins of it, and I'm tired of it. And I've had other people say stuff about, that's so long, and I don't know if I can do that much grass. I did it like a fence post at a time. So I would do, you know, post here, and then fill in between it. And I went ahead on why did I just forget what it's called? Not a garland, the bunting. Is that what it's called? Anyway, I'd go ahead on it, but I would only stitch between the fence posts one at a time. And it seemed to break it down for me. And I kind of did it, so I was working down here as I was doing things up here, so that it wouldn't seem like I was spending 6 weeks on and only stitch grass and all of that, because it took forever. This is 36 count Winter's Brew. I started this last July, like a couple days after the 4th of July, but then I put it away and did fall things and Christmas things, and then I got it back out again in January and worked on it for like a week here and a week there, and then this is pretty much all I worked on in April, and then finished at the beginning of this month for Mania. Yeah, so this is probably the biggest thing that not the biggest thing that I've attempted, but the biggest thing that I have actually finished. Yeah, and I did the call for colors, except for the inside of the windows. I used cast iron skillet because I just happened to already have that. And excuse me, I switched out. It calls for Calico Kitty, and it was kind of pink. I had done the star in it, or started the star, and then one of the flags I had finished, and it looked okay in the flag when it was just a little bit. It just looked like a faded red, but in the star it was kind of pinkish. The other thing that I would change if I were to do it again, but was not about to unpick, is this bottom part of the house. So the top here is in soot. This bottom is not. What is it? It's not Pelican Bay. I'll have to look it up. Anyway, I feel like it kind of blends together. I don't know how well you can see, but you can't really see a definite roof line. And I saw somebody else stitch this after I had done that in the DMC color conversion, that it said, you can hear my kids coming up the stairs telling each other to be quiet. And I actually liked it better with the DMC one because it was a more definite roof line than the little addition thing there. So I would probably do that if I were going to do it again. Yeah, that is the biggest thing I would change. I have this up in my living room. I had my husband frame it for me for Mother's Day. So I've had it back for maybe a week. And, hi. Okay, they're going upstairs. I'm sitting here in the living room because when I do it in our bedroom, my bedroom's not decorated at all. So of course I've got you aimed toward this one blank corner. Anyway, but so that you'd have something to look at, even though you now cannot see anything. But I just sent them upstairs to go play or something because they'll be loud and visit, and they all want to be on camera. So anyway, I don't remember what else I was going to say about it. Anyway, I love the way it turned out, and now I am going to just be doing smaller ones for a while because I like to finish things quicker than working on them for that long. But I do have in Friendship still kitted that I haven't started, and I am absolutely dying to do Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring. I have been eyeing it since it came out, and my husband was going to give it to me for Christmas, and I was like, oh, I've got this other big one I've got to do first, so why don't we not start that? Or because I'm going to want to start it right away and just throw all this older stuff, not throw it out, but you know, put it away for a while and not actually work on it. But my birthday's coming up, and I'm like, oh, I would really love to do that. So I'm probably going to have him give it to me for my birthday and then start it. If anybody wants to do a stitch along with me, I would love it. Yeah, I just love that one, and it would match perfectly in this room. Anyway, that's on my wish list now, that and the Noel sampler. I'm trying to get done. I started with the Stitch 9 challenge, and this was part of it. I still have the Heritage sampler that I barely started, and I really need to work on it, but I'm so tired of the big one. I just want to do little things and get those done. And so I've been starting a bunch of new little tiny things. I have the Heritage sampler, I have Thankful, Grateful, and Blessed by With Thy Needle. I've got Witch Witch by Lottie Dot, and I've got another Turkey Bay by Plum Street. And that's what I have left for the Stitch 9 challenge. And I know I can get all of it done, but the Heritage sampler, I could totally get it done. I realize I've got time, but it's just not calling to me, and I really love it. I don't know why it's not. I think it's just because I was working so hard on this big one, and I'm ready for a little bit of a different style than, because they're kind of the same, you know what I mean? They're kind of the same style. Like, they're Americana, they're both Plum Street, so they've got their own style. And I'm kind of ready for something different. I still love it, and I'm positive that I will finish it eventually. I just don't know if it'll be by the end of the year. And I'm in the mood for new starts now. I would love to only have like 2 or 3 whips and just get them done. And I'm trying to definitely not have carryover from, like if I'm doing a Halloween piece, not to get it done by Halloween and then not have it carried over for the next year, except for maybe to fully finish it, but at least have it stitched. Yeah, I like to be able to buy things. There's something exciting about going to the cross-stitch store and buying what you need or what you want and then getting to come right home and start it. I just love it. And so, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And if I do decide that I want the Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring, I will be starting it the day that I get it. Anyway, I really do love it. That's probably what I'm gonna do, let's be honest. Anyway, because I had sworn when I was done, I swore I wasn't gonna do another big one for the rest of the year, but I can change my mind, right? Anyway, I need to say thank you to Pretty Southern for the shout out last week. I appreciate that. It's so much fun to have new followers, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. Yeah, and if you guys ever hear somebody shout me out, please let me know who it's from, because I got all these, I hadn't seen her new one yet, and I got all of these people following all of a sudden. So I could tell that somebody had, but I didn't know who it was. And I did figure it out when I eventually watched and said, oh, that's who it was. But, hi, what are you doing? Kate? We're all dressed like princesses, which is fine. I just don't know what they're up to. Hi, what are you doing? Anyway, I better go see what they're up to. Yeah, we've got a lot going on coming up. We've got the end of the school year. It's kind of our family birthday season. I've got 5 kids, and one of their, isn't that just like a 2T? Okay, can you not? She's 10, and I swear that dress is the 2T. It's very short. Anyway, my husband's not here, so I've got kids coming out of everywhere. Anyway, my youngest is born in January, but all of the rest of us, we've had one birthday already in May, but the rest of us are between now and the end of August, including grandparents and cousins, and in fact, all of their grandparents except for like one. So we've got a busy family birthday season, including summer and all of that stuff. So I will be back as soon as I can. The next time I would normally do one would be the first week of summer. So we'll see what's going on and how loud my house is at the time, and we'll see when I come back. I will try to do it that week, but it may or may not happen. We typically have, 10 neighbor kids over here besides my own 5, and multiple of my children have multiple friends over at the same time. We'll see. If I have 5 minutes where they're all outside, I might do a very short one. We'll just have to see what we can get going. But thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's the Silver Scissor Sews. And thanks for stopping by.